Hello again, this is John Bush from the War Room. I want to show you a couple things that you may not get to see in the normal course of events. The Air Force provided survival rifles for crews. A lot of it only came in with SAC, and they were primarily for use when the pilots and crew weren't flying anymore, but were walking around, so they needed a gun. And you needed something that was kind of small, but provided a full service weapon when the time came. Now, the first one that really had a lot of issue was the M4. These were built by H&R, Harrington and Richardson. It's basically a small bolt-action rifle, magazine fed. The stock came out and locked, and you'll notice there's no barrel. Now, the reason there's no barrel is it hasn't been decided whether this is going to be a 16-inch barrel, so it's just a Title I firearm, or the original barrels, which were 14 inches. 14 inches, you got to have federal approval. And the guy hasn't decided which way he wants to go on this, because as it sits right now without a barrel, it's a standard Title I firearm. You can own it, transfer it, whatever. If you put a 14-inch barrel on it, federally registered, and that's the problem. But if you put 16-inch barrel, it's back again to a Title I firearm. Now, these were nice, interesting guns, 22 Hornet, and they actually issued full metal jacket ammo that said for small game use only, don't shoot enemy personnel with it. Now, the only cheesy thing about these was the rear sight. The rear sight is really, you can look and you can see, this is fairly sturdy, stamped, but fairly sturdy. The sight, I hate to use the word cheesy, but it's kind of a cheesy rear sight. But they're really collectible. They're fun guns to shoot occasionally. They're really nice and collectible guns. And then they came out with what's called the the M6. Okay? Now, this is a real M6 registered as a short-barreled rifle, short-barreled shotgun, because this is 22 Hornet over a 410, a really nice combination. Now, later these were made by Springfield Armory with full-length barrels, so it was just a standard Title I firearm. If you take a look right here, this is the trigger, because being SAC, they thought it's always going to be cold when we're going over the Arctic. So they made it so you could shoot it with gloves. So all you did was grip it here. Now, because we got two barrels, we got a 22 Hornet and a 410, we got to have some way of choosing which one we're going to do. And that's this round knob right here. We can have it down for the 410. We pull it up for the 22 Hornet. A little bit more complicated than, say, the Savage 24, which is pretty simple, but everybody likes that setup. So now you'd cock it, and with your gloved hand, you could reach here and fire it and get that rabbit so you had something to eat that night. Now, the sight had two ranges. You had a peep, and you flip it up, and you have a longer range blade sight. Now, what do you do with your ammo? Put it in your shirt pocket? Oh, they thought of that. In the back, you have a covered area. Lift it up. You got 410s, 22 Hornets. It's such a nice gun. And if they didn't have to be federally registered, they'd be a lot more popular. Now, the Springfield guns have really advanced in price because there's a real demand. People like them. Now, not only do you lift the lever at the top to load it, lift it up, there. You can see you break it there to load it, but you can also bring it all the way around so you can slip it in your backpack. Now, that's an interesting feature, makes it nice. Now, just a legal side note, the receiver on this gun is actually this barrel section here. The buttstock is a nothing item, it's a part. But the receiver is actually the barrel section, and you find these parts individually a lot of times for sale, and individually, they're fine. No problem at all. It's only when you get it all together that you need to have it registered and pay the tax. Your uncle, he's always interested in the tax that you're going to pay. So keep an eye out. You find these parts, and they're eminently sellable, and they're fun guns. And if you're at a machine gun shoot or something like that, occasionally you see these, and they are fun. Just like everything else in round guns, it's all fun. You enjoy, and we'll see you next time.